Are you increasingly feeling more intense energy coming in through your heart center? Are you feeling more bursts of anxiety, like you're having heart palpitations? What people like to call ascension symptoms. Are you experiencing more of this? Because if you are, you're not crazy. What is happening is that right now, the ascension process that began a few years ago is now ramping up to a whole new level. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly what you can do to make sure that these jolts of higher dimensional frequencies that are hitting your body actually are something that you enjoy experiencing. Because what's happening is the universe is trying to shift you up to a higher frequency. So we're going to get into it right now. So I'm here to tell you that the solar flash has ended. So you probably have heard of the solar flash. I talked a lot about it for probably a couple of years. And so I'm here to tell you that the solar flash is a real thing and that it has already happened. It was not an instantaneous event. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't going to be some kind of instantaneous event, because we're in this process of ascension shift, and there could be a lot more things ahead. But I'm here to tell you, based on my experience, based on my research, based on my communications with higher dimensional beings, I am now here to tell you that the solar flash event has come and gone. Because what I was told originally by the light beings was that there was going to be a series of solar wave events that was going to come from the sun, and it was going to hit the earth, and it was then going to penetrate into all of the matter on earth, and then earth would then shift up. So they didn't tell me anything more than that, but I remembered what they said. They said it was a series of solar wave events. So without getting into what happened, I'm here to tell you that series of events has come and gone. It doesn't mean we're not still getting hit by things. There's all kinds of things flying through our solar system. All kinds of stuff is happening. But the solar event has come and gone. This is good news. It means that the ascension event has occurred. I could get into more details, but believe me or not, that's what I'm here to tell you. But what has happened, as I said, is that we've hit a new frequency shift, and it's going to begin increasing. It's not an event that is pleasant and just slowly comes on, like a good glass of champagne. It's going to come in jolts. And so if you're not prepared for it, it can be very challenging, it can be traumatic. But if you have the proper tools and you know exactly how to interface with this can be a very pleasant ascension process. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. All right, so the solar flash has ended. 5D, what we're calling 5D, is actually integrating into our reality. There are two frequencies on Earth. So it's sort of like, imagine a pool of water, and there's space above it and space below. And you can either poke your head out of the top and there will be that world, or you can dive down to the bottom and poke your head out of the bottom, and that will be, and everything will turn around upside down and you'll have a different world. That's what's happening right now. So you can have two people at the bus stop, and one of them will actually have their mind in the new 5D world, and the other one will have their head in the old world. They'll be standing right next to each other, and from what we can tell from our third dimensional perception, they're both in the same world. They can communicate with each other, interact, but the truth is their minds are focused into completely different worlds. They look the same. You want to call them alternate universes, alternate timelines, even though there's no such thing as alternate timelines. But if that works for you, you can use that. That is happening right now. So the question is, how do you get your perception into the new world that is now integrating into our reality? So there's some, there's some work that's being done. And as the electronics are getting hooked up, all these kinds of strange things are happening. It's happening to you if you're feeling what I described earlier. So people are experiencing higher dimensional electromagnetic jolts, as I like to call them, in their heart center. People believe they're having anxiety attacks or heart palpitations. What is actually happening is that the Earth and the Sun are continuing to release higher dimensional electromagnetic frequency bursts. And these higher dimensional frequencies of these jolts are entering your body through the heart protector, or what traditional Chinese medicine calls the Shin Bao. So we're going to get into that. You probably already have heard me talk about it, but your heart center, scientists know this, doctors know this, your heart center is an electromagnetic battery. When that electromagnetic charge stops, you die. Cut off an arm, you'll be okay. Cut off a leg, you'll survive that. Cut off an ear, you'll survive that. When that electromagnetic battery stops functioning, your heart stops and you die. This is just the superficial understanding from our two-dimensional, we see in 2 dimensions, or two-dimensional eyeball perception. But what's really going on is that you have an interdimensional portal here. That's why there's an electromagnetic field around your heart. We'll get into that. What's happening is that is getting jolted. And if you don't have the energy meridians of that connected to the rest of your body, then what's going to happen is you are going to experience more and more of these intense jolts, which you may perceive as electromagnetic jolts. You may perceive them as anxiety, as panic attacks, as heart palpitations, but that's not what's happening. So, these jolts are entering through the heart protector, or the Shin Bao. We'll talk about what that is. If the person has not yet opened the heart protector meridians, the energy bursts become trapped in the heart center, causing an overload in the heart. And this is what's happening when you feel this intense jolt or heart palpitations. What's happening is that these electromagnetic energies are actually coming. They appear from inside your heart. So they're not coming from here, they're not coming from here, they're not coming from here, right? That's a third dimensional understanding. They're not coming from anywhere outside of you. They are coming from another dimension. But the way dimensions work is whenever something from a higher dimension comes into our third dimension, what happens is you see an orb, and the orb will expand. Sometimes the orb will expand and turn into 2 orbs. So that's, if we were in the 2 dimension, you see, you poke your finger through the second dimension, you see this line that gets bigger and smaller. In the third dimension, you don't see a line because we're not 2-dimensional, we're 3-dimensional. You see a 3-dimensional orb get bigger and smaller. What does that have to do with your heart center? Your soul is an orb. Your soul is a higher dimensional light orb. So the entryway to the third dimension through your body is going to come from inside your heart and expand outwards. That means that the energy that's hitting you, jolting, it has to come through the heart, because there's no other higher dimensional portal in your body. It's right here in your heart. Okay? Otherwise your soul would have no place to, your soul wouldn't be able to get into this dimension. That's the portal. So when the person has not yet opened the heart portal meridians, the energy bursts are trapped in the heart center, causing an overload in the heart. So your soul is a higher dimensional entity. It's a God. It's a higher dimensional light being. When we hear about light beings and angels, and that's your soul. Now you say to yourself, well, how can that be? I'm such a screwed up human. Well, that's because your soul is inside of a third dimensional avatar with a 3D brain and 3D emotions and all that. That's the stuff that does all the human tripping over itself, creating problems. It's not an indication of the fact that your soul is weak or evil. You're on a lower frequency video game, so it has all the glitches that has. But your soul is actually a God that has chosen to come in. Now it has to come in through the portal. The portal is in the middle of the heart, and so your soul is there. But your soul actually is a portal. Other higher dimensional energies can come through your soul, through your heart center. There's more to it than that. So your soul is a higher dimensional entity. He needs a higher dimensional portal to project himself into your third dimensional body. I use the masculine because whether or not, we're not talking about gender or identity. That's another discussion that people can deal with in politics if they want. We're talking about energy. So everybody's soul is a yang energy. It's a masculine energy. And there's a feminine energy that is connected to it. So you have the balance of masculine and feminine. We'll get into that. So that's why I call your soul a he. So the she energy is a higher dimensional goddess who surrounds the soul to protect him from the third dimension. This is really important to understand, and this is something that almost nobody has understood. The only people that I'm aware of who truly understood what was going on, and even then they didn't understand it to the extent that we're starting to understand it now. And we're starting to understand it more fully now because we are shifting up to a higher frequency where this becomes extremely important. So your soul is masculine, but it has to be balanced by the feminine. So what happens is this feminine energy comes and surrounds the soul. So this feminine energy is like a Faraday cage. Don't know what it is, go look it up. Go Google it. It's a higher dimensional electromagnetic energy field, a protective energy field that surrounds the soul. Without getting too graphic, what happens when the masculine and the feminine physically connect? The feminine surrounds the masculine. That is exactly what's happening inside the heart center of every single human being on the planet, regardless of gender or anything else. So without that energy field around the soul, number one, would not be able to tolerate the harshness of this third dimensional reality. This is a very harsh place. And also, the third dimension wouldn't survive, because if the soul really expressed itself fully, the third dimension would just melt. It couldn't tolerate that level of higher dimensional energy. So in order to protect both the third dimensional video game and to protect the heart itself, this feminine energy called the she energy, which is higher dimensional electromagnetic energy, it surrounds the soul. Now, that is just the intellectual understanding, the physical understanding of it. But the truth is that, as you know, your soul is an entity. It has feelings. It feels joy. It feels bliss. It feels love. It feels connection to other souls. And that's, without your soul, you don't exist, right? Even your personality, your brain, it stops functioning. Your soul is you, the true entity, the true consciousness is your soul. So guess what? That energy that surrounds the soul is also a conscious entity. In fact, it is a goddess. It is quite possibly the most powerful goddess energy in the third dimension. So without getting into the weeds, just We'll just leave it like that. But the reason why this energy is around the soul is because she loves the soul. You hear about Shiva and Shakti, the mythology about Parvati falling in love with Shiva, who's meditating all the time, and she can't live without him. She has to connect to him. That's actually what is going on. The Shi energy, Xi energy, this feminine electromagnetic lightning energy that's protecting the heart, is actually surrounding and embracing the heart in a deep, deep embrace of love, more intense than anything you can begin to imagine. Now, that intensity of energy is happening on a deeply, deeply spiritual level. We are usually not mentally aware of it. In the third dimension, it's almost guaranteed that people will not be aware of that intense, loving, incredibly powerful energy. But we're not in the third dimension anymore. We're shifting to a higher frequency. I mean, I won't get into technically we're not shifting to the fifth dimension, because that includes a different direction and all that stuff. We're shifting to a higher frequency, which is a different reality, and these two frequencies are currently right here on Earth right now. So you want to know, how do I get to that other frequency? How do I shift my perception to that other frequency? The key is tapping into this love connection that's going on inside of you. And the reason why you're feeling these jolts of energy is because this union, that as we shift to a higher frequency, the energy that's surrounding the soul is getting stronger and stronger. Now, just to let you know, we have a complete misunderstanding of the masculine and feminine. Complete, total, utter misunderstanding. The masculine and the feminine is not at all what you've been told. So the feminine energy is so intense, is so powerful. In fact, on a spiritual level, the masculine is strength, the feminine is power. That's why in ancient times, before we had the male patriarchy, elite mindset that started taking over the world, even in Europe, the old stories are called, what are they called? They're called fairy tales. And who is always the bad guy in fairy tales? It's a wicked witch. Now, before you start going off on sexism, that's not what's happening. They understood that if you're going to write a story and you need somebody that is super powerful, it has to be a woman, because women have all the power, not men. Unless you're able to convince a woman that she doesn't have any power, then she won't access it and won't use it. But back when they were writing these stories, they called them fairy tales. They knew that women had all the power. Energetically, this is true. So the love that comes from this energy is so intense that if you even become the slightest bit conscious of it, the first thing that's going to happen is you are going to feel anxiety. You say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Somebody gives you love and you feel anxiety? That's right. What happens when you fall in love? What's the first thing that happens? First, you use the term fall in love. I'm out of control. I'm afraid. You're afraid of what? You're afraid of being vulnerable. You're afraid of being hurt. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of really allowing yourself to become completely vulnerable, open to this connection, because then you'll have no defenses. So we've been living for the past 13,000 years defending ourselves from this intense love. But when this love hits you, the first thing that it does is it destroys the negativity within you. This is why Kali has blood coming out of her mouth and she looks, It's because she loves her children so much that what you're seeing is that she's destroying the evil forces trying to hurt her children. So when you feel this love, first thing that's going to happen is all of your self-negative talk. Remember, we're living in this, this pool, and we're upside down. So imagine right now our head's above water. You think you're right side up. You're not. You're upside down. So dive under until you go through the other side, and you think you're looking upside down, and then just like in the movies, everything shifts, and now you're right side up again. When you're on the other side of this, you are going to realize that you are loved, and that the most protected place you can be is to trust and to allow yourself to be completely seen and completely loved. The other thing that's going to happen is that because this energy is coming from the deepest part of you, remember that, it's not coming from outside of you into you. What happens is we have our soul, and our soul is the deepest part of us. And then we have this protective energy. And then we have these, our wounds, and we have our emotional armor. So that emotional armor is to protect us from things coming at us from the outside. We don't have anything protecting us from something that comes from within us. So what ends up happening is that this energy begins to expand in our heart center, and it bumps right into our protective layers, our defense mechanisms that we think we need for all those other people outside of us. And instead of understanding that, oh, this is coming through, because what's happening is healing on the deepest level is coming through. If we don't know what's happening, we're going to try and hold on to that armor even more. What ends up happening is that the love of that electromagnetic feminine energy smashes up against your walls, and it's trying to break through your walls so that your heart will open up. But if you're holding your heart closed, what's going to happen? You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have heart palpitations. You're going to have paranoia. You're going to think everybody's out to get you. You're going to start looking for problems. You're going to be paranoid about everything. You're going to take everything personally. And you're going to do what people done. I've seen it. Maybe you've seen it. Somebody falls in love with somebody that really loves them, that really sees them, that accepts them exactly for who they are, not for what they do, not how much money they have or what their body looks like or what kind of car they drive, but because they just love that person's soul. And what happens? The person flips out. They can't handle it. So they go cheat on the person, or they destroy the relationship. That's what's happening. They can't tolerate the thought of actually going through the pain of letting go of all of the protection. So this is what's coming for everybody right now. That's why people are flipping out. They can't handle the love. Stop looking for what's coming outside of you. It's not. It's coming from inside of you. Remember, the higher dimensions are gonna first appear inside of you and then expand outward. And when that happens, that energy, that feminine electromagnetic energy, begins expanding outward. So, the She energy is a higher dimensional goddess who surrounds the soul to protect him from 3D. Normally, these two higher dimensional beings are locked in a yin-yang connection, that love embrace, contained in the heart center portal. But now, higher dimensional frequencies are being projected into the third dimension. The path for projection is your soul, the She, the higher dimensional stargate portal in your heart. If the person consciously and deliberately chooses to connect this heart-mind portal to the body's energy meridians, then the higher dimensional jolts are pleasant energy shifts that facilitate the 5D light body shift. If the person resists the shift, the jolts create panic attacks, paranoia, heart palpitations. Okay, so I already went into all of that. So that's why I created this, because that's what's happening. You see the energy. Isn't that interesting? This is according to artificial intelligence image generators, if I just simply say Caucasian male, bald, they end up making pictures of me. I find that very interesting. Anyway, so that's what's happening. And what I tried to illustrate here is that the heart center Faraday cage was expanding and all of the energy was coming through the meridians into the hands, out the third eye, out the navel. So this is what's going to happen. I'm sure some of you have experienced this. You'll feel these jolts, you'll feel the panic attacks, the paranoia, and at the same time you'll realize that your hands are feeling hot, or there's a lot of tingly energy, or your ears start to, you either hear weird noises, or your ears feel like they're closing up, or tinnitus starts going on. You can feel energy, your third eye, your navel. Okay. This is your energy meridians trying. They're trying to let this energy flow through your body. So we got a couple of things going on here. People who haven't learned how to do the energy work. I'm here to tell you that 13,000 years ago, this knowledge was going to be given to humans, and people were supposed to be doing this for 13,000 years. And unfortunately, we had this elite, crew of people trying to enslave the earth, and they went out of their way to stop people. That's why they burned people at the stake, flayed them alive, for connecting to ancient spiritual understandings. So unfortunately, things aren't flowing as smoothly as they could. So there are people that are going to have problems just because their energy meridians haven't been flipped on and raised up with this higher dimensional energy. I'm not talking about chi energy or kundalini. Those are two energies that we need as well. But the third one that people haven't heard yet is this chi energy, this higher dimensional feminine energy in the heart. Almost nobody knows about it. The only people that I've seen that know about it are the Mao Shan. They're the only people that were able to understand it. And that's only one sect within all of Taoism. Even Taoists didn't either barely touch the surface or knew nothing about it. So we need to share this energy science with as many people as possible, because it is the single most, in my experience, the single most powerful and effective way to make that shift to the higher dimension. Anyway, let's keep going. All right, we already talked about that. So until now, the Shi energy, the Faraday cage protecting the soul, has stayed self-contained and dormant in the heart. If our world history had transpired without false religion, humans would naturally extend the Shi energy throughout the energy meridian system, but that did not happen. So now humans need a Shi delivery system to facilitate the flow of the heart-mind goddess energy into the body's Chi meridians. All right? So do you understand that? So we have these meridians in our body. We wouldn't live if they weren't functioning. This is why acupuncture works, acupressure, is because we have these energy meridians. Now, it's not that these people don't know about this heart protector energy, but they really only know the most superficial aspect of it. But those meridians are there, and they need to be awakened, and then all of this energy needs to be able to move through the whole body. In order for that to happen, this is something that we need to consciously and deliberately do, because it doesn't normally happen. It doesn't happen easily normally. It will. Once we get past this shift, babies will be born and everything will be functioning. Right now, those of us who are making the shift, we need to have somebody come in and do some repairs and hook up the wire so that it all functions correctly. So, to facilitate the flow of the heart-mind goddess energy into the body's chi meridians, doing meditations and energy practices that awaken the Shi can lessen the negative effects of these higher dimensional jolts and also give us power to accelerate and control the massive frequency shifts that we are currently experiencing. And these frequency shifts are only going to increase. So, what I went through, bear in mind, I was practicing this energy that we're talking about. I've been practicing it and teaching it off and on for 30 years. So my body's already got a head start on it. And that is why when I first reached out and made conscious connection with extraterrestrials in June of 2022 for the first time, they showed up and they went crazy, just jolting me and lighting everything up. You guys remember, I thought I was losing my mind. And it was very challenging and very intense and blissful and wonderful. But what was happening is that they knew that I had been priming my system for their energies. And so they took it as far as they could. Thankfully, I survived and am doing very well. I'm in much better health now than I was before all of that. Not that I was in bad health before. I'm just in even better health now than I was. So they told me, "You're the first." Now I know what they meant. I'm the first person that's have all these meridians hooked up to not only within my own body, but connected to their frequency as well. This is now going to start happening to other people. Other people are going to start experiencing what I went through. Who knows how intense it'll be. My suggestion is to consciously get ahead of it. Because if you wait around for it to happen, then you're going to have, these potential problems. So having gone through I went from 0 to 100, within a month or two, I can tell you that's not necessarily the way that everybody should do it. So we have these technologies, these energy technologies, spiritual technologies that we can use that will help us control this shift. All right, so doing meditations and energy practices that awaken the Shi. I already said that. So these frequency shifts are only going to increase. So how to integrate the higher dimensional frequency heart jolts. Number 1, CE5 meditation. You can go look it up. I'm not the only person that does this. You can just type in Google CE5 guided meditation. There are groups all over the world, Facebook groups. Do that. These beings will help you. You want more help? You want to really get on top of it? Pay attention. Do interdimensional meditation. We do these every Wednesday and Saturday. I'm about to do one as soon as I finish this video. We're going to do another live one. Every Wednesday and Saturday, 8:30 p.m., live streamed on this channel. If you can't make the live, go to the live section on the YouTube channel and you can watch all the recorded ones. If you do it with an open heart and an open mind, you will make contact. You'll now know what I'm talking about. You'll feel these energy jolts. Okay, do the 3 ones meditation. That is something that, again, if you really want to go looking for it, you might be able to find it. It's the method of holding the 3 ones. I have been doing this again for 30 years. I've created simpler and even altered versions of it because that was written 2,000 years ago. And you can find that here at thunderwizard.com. Subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Hit memberships and subscribe to that. And when you get there, you will see something that looks like this, Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Scroll around in there, you'll find it. I teach you how to do the 3 ones meditation. These are things that should be done. CE5 meditation, interdimensional meditation, 3 ones meditation, that's for everybody. Everybody should be doing that, no matter who you are, no matter what your ambition is in all of this, so that you can make this shift. All right, the second level is to do the Maoshan beginner level. That is the lightning Qigong. We already talked about that. That can be found, again, as we said, at thunderwizard.com. Hit memberships, Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And that would be, I would put that at level 1. The Summoning the Immortals. That, again, you don't have to do all of these things. You want to just you want one thing that you can focus on, and no problem. I created this and it's turned out to be very powerful. If you click thunderwizard.com and instead click on shop instead of memberships, this will come up. You see right there, Maoshan Summoning the Immortals. So you have to scroll around and go through some pages. Go there and get that. It's only $29 and you will find out. Prove to yourself if I'm telling you the truth. Do that practice and find out if I'm telling you the truth or not. And then we have Celestial Qigong. All right, you want to get a little bit deeper. I still put this at the beginning. You don't have to do all of these. These are just things that are available to you. It's very simple to do. It's just simple postures, simple movements. It's even more simple than Summoning the Immortals, but it will get you directly connected to that Faraday cage energy, and that can be found. You click on, what do we click on here? We click on shop, again, thunderwizard.com, click on shop, and you'll see it in the bottom right, Celestial Qigong, the foundation of Maoshan energy work. Great. Those are the beginning ones. Let's see, did I have other beginning? I think that's all of it. Oh, the Xuan Wu. So I've been telling you guys about this form. This is a moving form, and it is Qigong, it's Shigong, which is this electromagnetic energy. It is Yigong, which means the power of intention, and Shengong, which means spirit work, which means you're working directly with the power of a deity. So all of these things are in this, and that can be found in both places. You can go here to maoshan.thunderwizard.com. You can get it there, which I prefer, I recommend, but some people have asked that I put it in the shop, so you can find it at thunderwizard.com. Click on shop and you'll see the Xuan Wu form. So that I would put in the beginning. Now you can do all of these beginnings or one or two of them. I do recommend everybody do the Xuan Wu, especially if you've moved past this beginning phase. Everybody should be doing it. I've already talked about it. Please, you owe it to yourself. All right, and then we have the next level, number 3, the 5-element spirit fighting forms. You can get that at maoshan.thunderwizard.com or at the shop at thunderwizard.com. Start with wood. Do the wood element, follow the directions, and then get the rest of them, or get them all at once here. Hands of Infinity, that is what's called the first set, and that here, maoshan.thunderwizard.com only, and that is going to give you the power of the navel center. I mean, not the basic navel center that most people have. We're talking about godlike powers of being able to create your world. So that is the Hands of Infinity. And the small forms of the butterfly hands, which can be found at the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong at the 3rd phase. And you can also go here to maoshan.thunderwizard.com and you can get different versions of just the butterfly itself. And then we move on beyond that. No, you don't have to get those smaller forms. You can if you want. You don't have to. I'm trying to give everybody as many options as possible. Perhaps I shouldn't do that. But anyway, all of those things will activate the navel. The 5-element spirit fighting, the Hands of Infinity, and the short butterfly hands, just the butterfly set. And then we have the actual butterfly hands form. This is the long version, and this is going to activate the heart center hugely. I'm going to record all of them soon, and then I'll decide when to make them available. But this butterfly set, this is going to open up the heart. It's going to explode it wide open. And I know because I did it 30 years ago, and I had never felt anything like that, and I'd been doing the spirit fighting for years. So I had already had a lot of that Shi energy released. But when you go directly into the heart and explode that thing wide open like that, this is supposed to turn you into a winged immortal. It's going to connect you directly to the soul, directly to the Shi energy, and the energy that goes through your body is off the charts. And anyway, you'll find out when you get there. But that is what's going to open up this heart center that we've been talking about. And then we've got a number 5, which is called the assassin fist, which is a moving form. And this is going to open up the third eye. This is going to, you've heard the stories of Shiva. And when Shiva opens up his third eye, what ends up happening? He vaporizes evil. So this is what this set will do. It gives you the ability to destroy evil spirits. You'll drive away evil people. If you ever need it for self-defense, you literally just touch somebody, it's all over. Now, you also get to the point where you never need to do any self-defense, because the energy that comes out of you, nobody wants to come near you. Nobody comes near me. Nobody wants to touch me. Nobody bothers me. And that's because of this energy. It's just incredibly powerful. All right, so number 6 is the spirit fist. That is for the Shen. That's actually a energy that is connected directly to the soul. That's an optional one, but I'm going to make that available too. And then we have work with mentor others. Very important. Listen, there's a bunch of you out there that are doing a lot of my practices. You follow the channel, you do the meditations, but you're not working with me. And you're getting 10% of what you could be getting. All of us at some point need to have a mentor to work with. You have to have it. So I encourage you to do that. And also mentoring others, teaching others. So I'm totally okay with people learning these things and going off and teaching them, as long as they don't use, go and make videos and become, my competition. Then that's a problem. But if you want to start your own classes and teach your own Qigong and teach your own spirit fighting classes, Xuan Wu form, go right ahead. Mentor others, teach others, share this energy with others. It's very important. And then number 8, continue the practices and the meditations. That should be obvious. Keep doing that. Once you tap into this energy, it's going to become addictive. Nobody's going to have to tell you to do it. You're going to be so addicted to the energy, you're going to be doing it. And you're going to have more and more experiences. The light beings love when people do this, because this puts you on their frequency. In fact, when you do, imagine there's a light being off in some other dimension somewhere, doing whatever they do. If you start doing these Shi-oriented practices like summoning the immortals or celestial Qigong or the first set or the second set or the third set or any of these other things, any of it, they feel it and they come to you. It's like the bat signal. It's like you've thrown the bat signal on and they know where to find you. And they start working with you. You are now on their radar and they're like, this is somebody that we want to help pull into a higher dimension. You want to have higher dimensional beings talking to you, working with you at whatever comfort level you have. Do these practices. It attracts them like moths to a flame. And 9, this is important, disengage from the 3D slave Ponzi scheme. Get out of trying to get rich. Get out of, if you do something, do whatever you have to do to pay the bills. But try and get yourself out of that whole 3D banking, credit card, credit report, taking out loans. Just try and move away from all that garbage. It's designed, it is a Ponzi scheme designed to destroy you. And number 10, only live for the joy of your soul. I know it sounds impossible, but I'm here to tell you that if you really commit yourself to it, you can do it. I only do what I want. I only live where I want. If fact, my life has now opened up to the point where I now am going to be spending half the year in my tropical Florida paradise when, the water's 80 degrees and we get waves from the hurricanes out in the ocean, and I'm surrounded by all this tropical trees and palm trees and all that. And then as soon as it starts getting cold, guess what? I travel around the country now, and I go to different surfing wave pools. I'll be in the desert. I'm going to be traveling up and going into the mountains and spending time in the forest. I'm going to be just living my absolute ultimate dream, only doing what I want. You can have that kind of life as well, where you only do what you want. That's the 5D. But you have to walk away from the other stuff. You have to walk away from the need to achieve whatever they're telling you you need to achieve. The more people that do this, the less power that they have. So, that's number 10. Only live for the joy of your soul. I can help you with that as well. You don't know what your soul desire is, I can help you with that. Go to thunderwizard.com, click on memberships, look at all the ways that you can interact with me. Contact me in the comments section on this channel if you have questions. I read all the comments. So that's it, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. You know exactly what to do. You know where to go. And hopefully I'll see you in a half an hour. Well, actually, I'm not going to upload this probably till tomorrow. So in any case, I'm still hoping I'll see you in half an hour for the live guided meditation that we do. That's it. My friends, I love you very much. Please be very good to yourselves. I will see you all next time.